Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Philadelphia, this is CBS 3 Eyewitness News this morning.
New overnight, an Amber Alert issued for a missing Allentown teen believed to be with the father of one of her friends. This morning we have new information on where they may have gone.
Right now in Florida, search teams continue to dig through the rubble of a collapsed bridge looking for survivors. Meantime, we're learning that the company hired to build that bridge has ties to our area.
Yeah, I'm excited. It feels very similar to 2 years ago.
And Villanova easily knocks off Radford to advance to the round of 32. We'll tell you how Nova fans are feeling about their chances of winning another title. Today is Friday, March 16th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Donovan.
And I'm Rahel Solomon. Let's get a check on today's forecast with Katie and the roads with Misha. Good morning, guys.
Hey, guys. TGIF. Yeah, happy Friday. Katie, I heard that you're excited. We're looking outside right now. Just lots of construction crews out there. So overall, we're looking good.
And thankfully, the weather is too. It's a really quiet start to the morning out there, but mind the wind again. This is a broken record kind of a forecast when it comes to that particular factor of the forecast. You know, the wind is still something that really is going to make it feel awfully chilly to you as the day goes on. And when you look at storm scan, there's even a hint of very, very light snow in a couple of pockets far north there in the Poconos. That should be fading away, though, as the day goes on. Our current temperatures are predominantly right around freezing, a little bit colder or even a little bit milder, just depending on your location. That typically is going to be true at the resort towns in the mountains and at the shore, so that's why we've got that going on. But as the day progresses, you're not going to see a ton of rebound here. It's a chilly day with wind to make it feel that much chillier. So low 40s is the best you can hope for here around the region as a whole. And yes, there will still be some snow showers around the Poconos, but they should be pretty scattered and isolated in nature. Misha?
I have a bad case of cabin fever. I just want that warm air. Man almighty. All right, Katie, thank you. Looking outside right now, still very quiet, obviously at 4:30 in the morning, but construction crews are out there. Schuylkill westbound the off-ramp to Henderson Road. So 2 lanes are blocked on the ramp. Lanes are blocked at the intersection of Henderson and Gulf Roads as well. So just a heads up on that. You can see the flashing lights out there. Overall, though, we just don't have a lot of volume. 95 north, the off-ramp to Woodhaven Road. More construction here. That right lane is compromised still. Let you know as soon as they move out of the way. And we do now have one accident out there. Roosevelt Boulevard southbound, the on-ramp from Berkeley Street. That right now is partially blocked. This is going to be one of those areas that will start to pose a problem for us a little bit later as we push maybe a little bit deeper into the 5 o'clock hour if it's still there. Jim, back over to you.
Thank you, Misha. New this morning, a fire damages a Center City pub. Firefighters rushed to Parkside Beef and Ale near the corner of 15th and Arch Streets around 11:30 last night. They had the flames under control in less than 20 minutes. There are no reports of injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Philadelphia firefighters also battled a house fire in Manayunk. The call came in around 2:25 this morning to the 3800 block of Crescent Street. The fire was under control in about 15 minutes. Apparently no one was hurt. No word yet on how this fire started. Well, new overnight, an Amber Alert has been issued in Mexico for a missing teenager from Allentown. 16-year-old Amy Yu disappeared Monday, March 5th. The Amber Alert says she may be traveling in Mexico with 45-year-old Kevin Esterly. Esterly is the father of one of her friends. Yu's mother says she recently learned Esterly was apparently in a secretive relationship with her daughter. Police say Yu listed Esterly as her stepfather on school records, and he had signed her out of school several times without her mother's permission.
Authorities in Florida are working to identify the people killed in yesterday's tragic collapse of a pedestrian bridge. Meanwhile, investigators will also begin the task of figuring out why this bridge suddenly crashed onto the roadway below. Here's CBS News correspondent Laura Podesta.
On Thursday afternoon, Southwest 8th Street in Sweetwater, Florida, turned into a disaster zone.
The whole bridge is down across the whole side of 8th Street.
Shortly before 2 p.m., a pedestrian bridge being built next to Florida International University collapsed. 950 tons of steel and concrete came crashing down onto 8 vehicles stopped at a red light beneath it.
There's cars stuck under there.
Within minutes, a massive search and rescue effort was underway.
I jumped out of my car, locked my car, and I ran towards the victims to see if we could help anybody. But when I saw, the only thing you could see were the car lights in the front. It's totally smashed almost to the ground.
First responders used dogs and listening devices to look for survivors. Cranes and other heavy equipment were brought in to stabilize the debris. The bridge was still under construction and had not yet opened to the public. Time-lapse video shows how it was assembled next to the road before being swung over it on Saturday.
5 days ago, we were celebrating that it was in the process of being erected. This bridge was about goodness, not sadness.
The National Transportation Safety Board has dispatched a team to the site of the collapse. The agency says its investigation will look at whether the bridge's design played a role in the tragedy. Laura Podesta for CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
And we're now learning that the company that built that bridge has ties to our area. The bridge was built by Fig Bridge Engineers. The company is based in Tallahassee, but has an office in Exton. SEPTA awarded Fig and 2 other companies a contract back in 2014. They replaced the Crum Creek Rail Bridge on the Media Elwyn Regional Rail Line. That project was finished in 2016.
Well, a suspect in a deadly hit and run on the main line is in police custody this morning. Kevin Gaughan surrendered yesterday to the Radnor Township Police. Investigators say he struck Fred Gitterman with his SUV last week on Lancaster Avenue and then left the scene. Once at home, police say Gaughan attempted to cover it up by filing a fraudulent insurance claim to repair front-end damage. Police say several tips helped them crack the case. Well, prosecutors have dropped all assault charges against members of a former Penn State fraternity in the hazing death of pledge Timothy Piazza. However, the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office says it will continue to pursue involuntary manslaughter charges against 4 members of Beta Theta Pi. Those charges do not carry the lengthy sentences that some of the assault charges did. Piazza died, you may recall, in February of last year when he fell down some stairs after a night of drinking. Well, the judge in the Bill Cosby sexual assault retrial will allow 5 additional accusers to testify. Last week, prosecutors argued that the women's testimony is evidence of Cosby's prior bad acts. Cosby is accused of drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Constand back in 2004. Cosby denies any wrongdoing. Only one other accuser was allowed to testify in his first trial, which ended in a hung jury. The retrial is set to begin on April 2nd.
The deadline to count the remaining ballots in a very close congressional race in Pennsylvania is next Tuesday. For now, Democrat Connor Lamb has a 627-vote lead over Republican Rick Saccone in the 18th district. Lamb is claiming victory. Saccone has not yet conceded. The Republican Party is watching the final vote counting before deciding whether to either seek a recount or sue over perceived election irregularities. And Pennsylvania lawmaker Nick Miccarelli can return to work at the State House, even though a judge granted a restraining order against him. The protection order given to State Representative Tara Toohill last week was extended by a judge yesterday for 3 years. Toohill alleges that fellow Representative Nick Miccarelli, who represents part of Delaware County, threatened to shoot her and then kill himself.
She's claimed that you pointed a gun at her and suggested that you threatened her life.
What I'm telling you is I've had little to no contact with her for a long time.
The order also forces Miccarelli to surrender his firearms unless he is on duty with the National Guard. He's also facing a criminal investigation in Harrisburg and an internal investigation by State House lawyers after the accusations by Toohill and other women. Miccarelli denies the allegations. Well, turning now to sports, the March Madness basketball tournament is underway.
And the #1 seeded Villanova Wildcats are moving on. Nova dominated 16th seed Radford in yesterday's opening game. Big East Player of the Year Jalen Brunson led Nova with 16 points. The Wildcats had a 32-point lead in this game. There's freshman Connor Gillespie with one of Nova's 14 three-pointers. The Wildcats handle Radford 87-61 and get Alabama in round 2 tomorrow.
They were a very good team. They were very scrappy. They made the game ugly, and we just got to prepare for that any game.
They played a game already, so they kind of came into the game with a little advantage, if we think of it, because they got a game under the belt. They got to settle in, so we had to get our nerves out early. Our young guys had to settle in and stuff like that. Once we settled in, we were fine.
Well, Nova Nation was watching with dreams of another championship. You may recall they won in 2016. Last night, many students went to a watch party on campus at the Connolly Center. While some are upbeat about the prospects of another title, others are taking it one game at a time.
I'm excited. It feels very similar to 2 years ago. Yeah. We try not to get our hopes too high until after the first weekend.
I think they played great. We played great defense this time, and we have the MVP Brunson. So I think we're going to make it to the final and get the trophy back here.
Now, Wildcats fans will be watching when the team takes on 9th-seeded Alabama. That's tomorrow at noon, right here on CBS 3.
And the Penn Quakers gave top-seeded Kansas a run in the early going of their game. Antonio Woods with 2 of his 10. And the Quakers had an early 10-point lead on the Jayhawks. But then Kansas senior Devontae Graham took over. He had 29 points, 6 assists, and 6 rebounds. to lead the Jayhawks over the Ivy League champs 76-60. And Eyewitness News was there just a few hours ago as the Quakers returned to campus. They caught a late flight from Wichita and got in around 1 this morning. Penn finished the regular season with a great 24-8 record. A lot of experts like the way this team looks for next season. They could get another chance in the big dance next March. And the madness continues today on CBS 3 at 12:15. Providence faces Texas A&M. At 2:45, it's Lipscomb versus North Carolina. Then at night, it's Bucknell versus Michigan State at 7:10. And at 9:40 p.m. it's Syracuse versus TCU.
Bravo to Penn. They did an amazing job. Yes. Well, coming up, a dog accidentally sent halfway across the world is back home with his family this morning.
Here the dog's owners describe the moment they were reunited with their beloved German Shepherd.
And crews are struggling to get this wildfire under control in Texas. We'll tell you how much land it's already destroyed. We're coming right back. Welcome back, everyone. The White House is denying reports that President Trump could soon replace National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster. As reports spread about McMaster being fired yesterday, the White House press secretary sent out a tweet insisting it was fake news. In fact, Sarah Huckabee said that Trump and McMaster have a good working relationship. The potential ousting comes days after Trump suggested he would dismiss aides with whom he had clashed.
All right, to Florida now. Newly released surveillance video appears to show a Florida deputy standing outside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School as a mass shooting unfolded inside. Take a look. The edited video shows Scott Peterson near an administration building a minute after the shooting began. Minutes later, he can be seen riding a golf cart near the building where the shooting was happening. The Broward Sheriff's Office said in a statement that the video speaks for itself and was enough to warrant an internal affairs investigation. Peterson resigned after being suspended without pay. The Valentine's Day shooting, of course, left 17 people dead. And these massive flames are from a wildfire burning in Texas. State forest officials say the blaze has burned 6,500 acres in Hartley and Moore counties. This rural area is about 35 miles north of Amarillo. Authorities went door to door last night evacuating residents. They're advising people near the flames to leave the area. Right now, the fire is only 15% contained. And a dog who was mistakenly flown to Japan is reunited with his owners.
10-year-old Ergo was moving with the family. He took a flight from Portland, Oregon, with the understanding that his final destination would be Kansas City. Well, United Airlines doesn't know how the German Shepherd wound up overseas. Now he has fortunately joined the Swindle family in their new home in Wichita.
It feels absolutely amazing to finally have him back. It's been a long 4 days. I never, ever imagined this. Not at all. Oh, he instantly jumped up and was just crying. Yeah, when he's super excited, he cries.
Ergo's owner says she doesn't foresee him taking any more flights in the future. I wonder, does Ergo get the frequent flyer miles? Because, you know, that's one heck of a flight to Japan and back. He could go to Florida on vacation next time.
Well, yeah, he deserves some incentives. Poor baby. Time now is 4:45, and Katie's here with another check of the forecast. Hi, Katie.
Hey, guys. Well, today, yet again, we've got some wind to contend with out there, but it's at least quiet otherwise. We are going to generally see a very quiet couple of days, even though there is a storm system across the midsection of the U.S. This bypasses us to the south tomorrow. So some of you are, well, all of us actually, are going to see a few more clouds, but some of you, especially in the southern counties, Cape May, Kent, Sussex counties, and Delaware, could actually end up with maybe just a stray shower. Most of us, though, are just going to eke out a quiet weekend. So that's the general theme in the next couple of days. But there is an active pattern that still is in play here in the long term. Here's that first system. Again, yeah, it could bring in a quick shower in the southernmost counties, but most of us eke out quiet weather. It's this storm, which hasn't even developed over dry land just yet, that could actually end up being our next nor'easter. Yeah, another one, number 4, in a span of just a handful of weeks. Now, what happens with this is still very much a question mark. What we definitely know right now is it's a midweek system for next week, so it is still kind of far out. But I think that we're all very sensitive to that word, nor'easter, at this point, that we want to know as far in advance as we can as to when the next thing might be coming. So we'll eke out, again, a pretty quiet weekend. Chilly, though. Remember, we'd normally be in the low 50s, and not one of these days will be. But just in time for the start of spring. Wouldn't you know? It looks like this storm is going to be getting here. So especially PM Tuesday, it starts as rain, and then there's a strong likelihood at this point, Misha, that we've got some snow to contend with for Wednesday, maybe Thursday too.
That's a big sigh. All right, Katie, thank you. Looking outside this morning, so far, so good. We did have some construction crews out here. Schuylkill westbound, the off-ramp to Henderson Road. They have now moved out of our way, so we're looking all good there. We also had some construction 95 north, the off-ramp to Woodhaven Road. That has been since cleared. So now we're looking at the Vine. You can see the westbound side looking pretty quiet. Eastbound side is actually looking pretty quiet too. Everything's looking just as it should, still in the 4 o'clock hour. Now we do have an accident here on the boulevard, Roosevelt Boulevard southbound, the on-ramp from Berkeley Street. This is partially blocked. This is going to be an area that will start to heat up, certainly in the 5 o'clock hour if that doesn't get moved out of our way. And then we also had some construction out there on the Burlington-Bristol Bridge. That has now since been cleared, and we're looking at all green, so traveling around just as we should in that area. Now we do have a couple other areas of construction, Northeast Extension. This is Northeast Extension southbound between Quakertown and Lansdale, PA Turnpike westbound before Virginia Drive. 2 lanes are going to be blocked there. And some more construction in New Jersey we're going to talk about coming up in the next 10 minutes. Jim and Rahel, over to you.
Thank you, Misha. It's a very special day at the Adventure Aquarium in Camden.
Today is Button the Hippo's 21st birthday, and they will be celebrating all weekend long. Now, since Button's birthday coincides with St. Patrick's Day, the special occasion takes on a green theme. Button and friend Jeannie the Hippo will munch on special fruit and veggie birthday cakes, and aquarium guests will be invited to sign a giant birthday card for this happy hippo. So since it's Button's 21st birthday, do you think it's just going to involve any stronger
alcohol?
beverages?
I don't know. It's 21 in Jersey.
We'll see.
Earlier this week, we saw thousands of students walk out of class protesting gun violence.
Well, some students in our area were told they were not allowed to participate, but they did anyway, and now they're being disciplined. Next, the punishment being handed out for defying the rules. We'll be back.
Well, about 225 Penridge High School students will be serving detention tomorrow because they walked out of school as part of the nationwide protest against gun violence. The school had previously warned students who left school without their parents that they would face discipline. The school did hold an in-house assembly Wednesday to honor the 17 people killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. Well, the time now is 4:51. Time for a check on business news.
Money Watch's Diane King-Hall joins us live this morning from the New York Stock Exchange. Diane, good morning. So it was a split finish for stocks yesterday. Let's break down the numbers.
All right, so good morning, Rahel and Jim. That's right. The Dow rallied 115 points. The Nasdaq lost 15. Today, investors will be keeping an eye on the latest housing and consumer sentiment data. That's on tap this morning. Meantime, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is warning President Trump against imposing big tariffs on Chinese imports. The White House is weighing whether to punish China for forcing U.S. companies to hand technology to Chinese companies. In other news, Southeastern Grocers, which owns the Winn-Dixie supermarket chain, is filing for bankruptcy. 94 Winn-Dixie stores will be closed as the company restructures. This is Southeastern's third bankruptcy filing since 2005. Rahel and Jim?
Boy, they can't seem to get it right over there. So, Diane, my people are celebrating tomorrow. It's St. Patrick's Day. So how much should I be taking out of my wallet to spend?
Yes. Okay, so the National Retail Federation is forecasting that Americans will spend nearly $6 billion in total this year. That breaks down to a little less than $40 a person on average. So you're doing the most if you spend more than that. Most of that money will go towards food, drinks, and maybe even green beer. Jim Rahel.
Diane, keeping it real, says you're doing the most.
There's alcohol involved in St. Patrick's Day. I've never heard of such a thing.
Not for me.
Thanks, Diane. We'll check in with you
I know
the
it
next
is a
hour.
holiday.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
So the wind is making it feel a bit cold outside.
And it will be chilly through the weekend. Katie will break it down when we come back.
Alcohol?
Apparently.
And welcome back, everyone, as we take a live look here from Skycam 3 overlooking from Hotel Bethlehem Main Street. Quiet traffic all in all right now, and a quiet weather day for the most part, except for the wind. So the last 2 mornings, we've really had some very pleasant sunrises. And, you know, at face value, if you're sitting in a nice warm TV studio, for example, it looks really, really nice outside. But then, yes, step outside and the chill is there. Now, we take a look at this very wide zoom on storm scan. Notice the storm system starting to churn here in the midsection of the U.S. That's coming at least east into tomorrow, but it should be bypassing us to the south. Currently, it feels awfully chilly outside. Go by these numbers. These are your wind chill values. The wind isn't terribly strong, but it's absolutely enough that you notice it. And because of the system in the midsection of our country moving east tomorrow, we are going to see more clouds to limit the warmth yet again. So happy St. Patrick's Day to you. We're going to have lots of fun festive graphics to show you throughout the morning, but there may be a stray shower south of Philly especially. Now looking ahead, come Sunday, we're back to sunshine, but we are not going to see a seasonable day in this 7-day. There's another storm coming our way next week, and it does promise to be a nor'easter system. I know, Jim. I'm not crazy about this either. And it comes just in time for spring to start, of course. So right now, what we definitely know is the timing. It looks like it's a midweek system, primarily Tuesday into Wednesday, possibly lasting into Thursday. The question marks, of course, this far out, Misha, remain of where is this thing going to track and how much snow would we be talking about? So you really just have to stick with us.
My goodness. Yes, absolutely do so. All right, Katie, thank you for that. Well, looking outside in your morning commute this morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. We're looking okay. So 42 freeway northbound on Creek Road. You take this towards 295. We are kind of keeping our eye on this guy pulled all the way up to the shoulder. He's not doing much. You're not even really tapping your brakes as you travel on by, but we know that 42 all week long has gotten really busy really fast. So we'll see what happens there. 95 south at Allegheny Avenue. This is what we're looking at both directions here. Looking good. Schuylkill near Girard. Also looking good, looking just as it should as we approach the 5 o'clock hour now. We do have an accident out there, Roosevelt Boulevard southbound, the on-ramp from Berkeley Street. That is partially blocked. Now, this is going to be an area that starts to slow down a little bit. We're going to keep our eye on the sensor map right now, showing all green, maybe a little bit of yellow, tapping your brakes as you travel on by. That will get slow in the 5 o'clock hour. We're also looking at some construction here, Northeast Extension, which has cleared. So the PA Turnpike westbound before Virginia Drive, 2 lanes are still blocked here. And we got more construction to talk about when we come back in a little bit. Jim, back over to you.
Thank you, Misha. Well, coming up in the next hour of CBS 3 Eyewitness News, where you can see some beautiful, vibrant colors at an orchid experience.
Plus, we have an update on the deadly bridge collapse in Florida. Overnight, we got surveillance video of the accident as it happened. We'll show you.
And see the controversial ad that has Rihanna taking on Snapchat. We're back at the top of the hour.